So guys, Amazfit, the sub-brand of electronics giant Huami, has been making things like fitness bands and smartwatches for what seems like forever now. And if you're still not sure who I'm talking about, feel free to Google them, Amazfit, or better yet, check out some of my earlier videos and we'll meet you right back here. But they're really good at what they do. They combine a high feature set with aggressive pricing, great design, and simplicity. And they're so good in fact that I own 3 of them, and one of them is still my daily driver 3 years later. Now, fast forward to the year 2020. And Amazfit is eager for a piece of the personal audio pie, or more precisely, the activity personal audio pie. They started with the Zenbuds back in June, and now they're chasing it with this guy, the Amazfit Powerbuds. And what's interesting here, guys, and why I wanted to review this, is that Amazfit didn't just go like, hey, we're gonna dabble in this and play it safe, so let's copy one of the products that's already out there. So basically, let's make a clone. No, they didn't do that. They merged their expertise in fitness and tracking with audio, and what we get is a pair of earbuds that possesses a couple of unique features and also gains a special power. Join me now to find out what that is after these messages, guys. Let's do it. Alright guys, so here is the Amazfit Powerbuds, and this thing is sold as a true wireless sports earbud as we mentioned earlier. This thing will set you back $100, and there are 3 colors available, by the way. There's dynamic black, active white, and this one, racing yellow. And I chose this because it's easier to film, and also I really enjoyed this contrasting yellow versus white. Now this has IP55 water and dust resistant rating, so it's perfect for working out, which is, you know, this is a sports earbud after all. I wish it was a little bit higher, an IP56 or IP67 or something like that, so you can shower with it. But as it is, it's perfectly fine for, you know, exposing it to rain or just a lot of sweat and washing it. Now, battery life is a healthy 7.5 hours actual and around 16 hours with the case. And this is with all features turned on, and I'll talk about it later on in a second why this is quite significant. The buds weigh a really light 6 grams, as well as the case is around 60 or 59 grams, which is pretty light and on par with all the other sports earbuds that's available on the market. The Powerbuds are controlled by touch, which is right here. And if you're looking for some kind of active noise cancellation, guys, this has none of that. So you're gonna have to go up market for that. It does have noise cancellation for phone calls, which we'll test in a second. It also has pass-through mode as well as USB-C charging. No wireless charging available here. And I understand that at this price range, although brands like Soundcore are already starting to do that in their $99 earbuds. So in year 2020, I can forgive this, and especially in the Amazfit as it is, it has a couple of cool features that make up for the lack of wireless earbuds, which we'll talk about next. This thing has Bluetooth 5.0 with SBC and AAC support only, so if you're looking for aptX, guys, you're going to be holding your breath for quite a long time. Now, the Powerbuds also have a couple of my top favorite quirks in any Reason earbuds, guys, where it has, get this, heart rate detection built in. Yes, this thing can track your heart rate, guys, and detachable magnetic ear hooks that you can pop on and off at a whim. And we'll take a closer look at these things in a bit. And another quirk that I found is in the box. This thing is one of the biggest manuals that I've ever received. When I got the box as a whole set, I was wondering why it was so heavy. Surely I thought the buds or the case wouldn't be that heavy. And sure enough, it was this manual. Check out how thick this thing is. It has 15 languages in here, and it weighs more than the buds and the case themselves. So that's an interesting quirk all by itself right there. So here's the case for the Powerbuds, guys, and it kind of resembles a bar of soap, doesn't it? Now, the dimensions are really commendable. It's not the size of the Samsung Buds Plus, for example, but it's really commendable. It's not very tall, not very wide, but as you can see from this angle, it's a little bit on the thick side. So my guess is during the Bulge Test, this thing is going to show quite a lot, even though it technically doesn't take up a lot of space in the pocket. Now, all around this, there's some kind of friction texture that they apply to it, which is somewhere between grippy and slippery. So when my hands were dry, it's perfectly fine to hold, but when my hands were slippery or damp in any way, these things went south. They became slippery and also made opening the lid, for example, more difficult than it needed to be. In terms of build quality though, this thing is solid, guys. It always feels like I'm holding a stone. When I squeeze it, there's not even a creak. And when it comes to design, this thing is all about simplicity as well. The only thing that emblazons the case is the Amazfit logo. There's not even copyright text at the bottom, for crying out loud. And the front, there's one single LED light. and the back is just the USB-C charging port. There's no buttons visible anywhere. Now, these two little gaps right here that you can see, actually, if you kind of squint, it kind of looks like an emoji face of some kind. But these two little gaps are not, here's this little quirk. It's not a manufacturing flaw. It's actually a design, there's a design purpose to it. So when I open the lid, it actually, that gap helps the lid to clear the bottom of the case right there. So you see that? They did that on purpose. For what it's worth, I thought I'll just mention it anyway. Opening up the case on the inside, you're greeted by this molding that holds the earbuds in place. And I've taken the left earbud out so you can better see the cavity a little bit more. The charging pins are right there, and the magnet that holds the earbuds in there are also embedded somewhere in there. The left-right indicators are printed there as well. Everything is well put together. The seams are nice and tight, and the only weak part of this whole ensemble is really the hinge. It's not spring-loaded in any way. It just sits right there, so when you apply any kind of force, it closes right there. And did I mention that the lid is magnetically sealed? So that's nice, at least. It keeps it right there. Now, I have to say that the cavity, I'm not sure if you can tell in this video, is really, really deep. So it's really the way the earbuds are designed. You see how deep it is. So it goes down there pretty deep. So getting it clean with even a Q-tip, you want to get that last chunk of ear gunk out of there. Can be quite a challenge, guys. So just bear that in mind. This is matte plastics as well as shiny plastics on the inside. And as you can see at the top of the lid, this is where it's really cool and different. The ear hooks are stored in-house in the case, so you have it with you at all times. Now, the ear hooks are also attached in there magnetically, and I'm not sure if it's neodymium magnets, but there's the magnet right there. I hope the camera can focus a little bit. But putting it back is as simple as locking it in place. The ear hooks, by the way, are not moldable or bendable. They just are preformed plastics, so you have to deal with that as it is. But at least it's there and you can take it with you. Now, I found that it's really hard to put these guys back when the earbud's in place, so I suggest taking out the earbud, then put the ear hooks first, and then put the earbuds next. So let's do the shake test now, guys. I'm gonna pop the earbud back in and gonna shake this upside down. I can hear a lot of wobbling and I already lost both earbuds. Yeah, I kind of expected that because when I put them in, they don't lock on really with a lot of strength. So yeah, it's no wonder that they all fell out. Anyways, that's the shake test. If you drop this on the floor, they're just gonna go flying everywhere. Now let's take a closer look at the earbud itself. And when you gaze on this for the first time, it looks like the design is off somehow. Like a earbud grew out of another earbud, and when it did, it attached a scooter or something. It also looks like a pile of poop or a rubber ducky at this angle, or even a bedpan from some. But anyways, this extraneous or seemingly extraneous piece of plastic is the piece de resistance of the Powerbuds. This, guys, is the heart rate or PPG sensor module that sits between the driver housing and the earbud itself. The sensor window is right here, and it sits in your earlobe to track your heart rate, and it does so pretty accurately. The fact that Amazfit was able to fit this whole package in something this small is pretty darn amazing all by itself. So when I have this in my ear, it protrudes about 2 to 3 millimeters outside of my earlobe. So that's pretty darn impressive all by itself. With that being said, this earbud is imbalanced towards the outside. So if you're wearing this during vigorous activities beyond your usual running or treadmilling, or if your ear tips are a little bit wet or damp from sweat, this thing wants to fall out. It tends to slide out, especially in my experience. And this is what the ear hooks are for then. This is the attachment window. So when you want the ear hooks, you grab it and it just attaches just like that. And when you want it off, boom, done. In the business end of things, there's a 9mm composite driver that pipes sound out through an oval sound port that's also covered by a plastic grill right here. The earbuds are relatively easy to pop on and off. Even though these guys are round, trying to match with an oval opening, it actually is pretty quick. Let me try doing this on screen right here. And it's not going to do. Oh, there it is right there. It's one of the quicker ones. These are soft silicone with a harder center core, which is nice. And there are 4 other sizes that you can choose from straight out of the box. And by the way, I also noticed this. The heart rate sensor module is covered by a soft silicone shell or skin as well. So I would say stay away from anything sharp to cut this open. But I wonder what's under there. Anybody? So guys, if you haven't heard already, I am trying to get to 5,000 subs and only you can get me there. If you haven't already, then please consider subscribing down below and turning on the bell notification icon. So thank you in advance for your help and get me to 5,000. Back to the program. Alright guys, we're out here doing the Bluetooth distance test, and I have Swallowed by Bush playing on Deezer in high fidelity. I'm going to put the phone at the end of my deck. We're going to walk away from here and see how far these earbuds handle it before they start cutting out or even dying completely. I'm going to put it here and we're going to keep walking. How you guys doing? These Powerbuds have Bluetooth 5.0, so it should last or be connected to the phone about 30 to 33 feet before we see anything happen in a bad way. So the phone is right over there. Where I'm standing is around 25 feet away. So I'm going to keep walking this way past line of sight a little bit, and we're going to see how far these, well, it's already starting to sputter. I'm going to keep walking until we have a full disconnect to see how things are. So right here is where it's dead. So around 38 feet, 39 feet is completely dead, and around 34, 33 feet before it starts to sputter. So it's pretty much right on the mark in terms of Bluetooth 5.0 earbuds. So yeah, that's good. And by the way, you guys can see how these things fit in my ear. Look at that. It's not too bad at all, right? Considering there's the heart rate monitor module in there, as well as the driver and the earbuds. All three different things in there. It's not bad at all. I really like the design of this and how they managed to fit this all in one little space. So anyways, let's move on to the mic test for phone calls. Alright guys, now I'm going to take you to the main road so we can test the Bluetooth quality on these for phone calls, where we can test the voice quality as well as noise suppression. There's some cars passing by. We're going to switch back and forth between the camera, the G85, and these Powerbuds to see how well they do. It's kind of quiet right now, but and the sunlight is perfect. Actually, it's a great day for filming. So how do these sound? Earlier I tested these and it's okay. Not the best I've tested yet. It's actually not very good when it's noisy. The noise suppression just really suffers. Even though these guys have 3 mics, I'm not sure how many mics handle phone calls and also which of the mics handle the noise suppression. So, you know, as it is, you can hear for yourself. You can decide on your own. Right now it's really, really quiet. So as it is, it's okay. But when I switch back and forth, you can hear the difference between my voice quality. It's not super hot at all. But it's very usable during phone calls, or if you're having a Skype or a Zoom call or something like that. It's perfectly fine. But when it does get noisy, I think you should just, you know, basically skip using these, say, on a really, really busy road. All right, guys, here comes some traffic. We're going to see how this thing handles sound. There you go. How does that sound like? Not bad. It's recording. That person looked at me funny. The candidate must have lost the election or something. Anyways, yeah, I don't think I like these very much in terms of sound suppression when it's noisy. So just use these indoors and you'll be happy. Other than that, you're going to be pissing people off, your listeners on the other end. So anyways, Amazfit, back to the drawing board because these suck in terms of noise suppression. And granted, guys, I wish I can find a higher quality recorder, voice recorder right now. Right now, the recorder I'm using only records in 8K megahertz or 8 kilohertz. Jeez, I can't even talk. So I'm trying to find something better, a little bit more like a CD quality, 16 kilohertz or 44. That would be really nice, so you can hear things a little bit better. So the search continues. If you have any ideas, feel free to comment down below and suggest an app that I can use with my Android phone. That would be super helpful. Anyways, back to the studio. So here we're looking at the Amazfit app, recently renamed to Zap. This is one of the brands that Amazfit recently bought. But to access the Powerbuds setting is down here in the profile at the bottom, and under My Devices you see the Amazfit Powerbuds. Right now it's connecting. You can see that the left and right battery levels are different. I forgot to mention this earlier, but these guys can be operated independently of each other. And the battery variance is around 1 to 2%, so is pretty darn good compared to some others that I've tested where the variance can be to 4 to 5% or even more. And in the bright rate down below those is that 0%. That's the battery case itself. Right now it's 0 and it's plugged into charge. Under that is gesture settings. Here's where you can tune your double or triple tap to do whatever it wants, except volume change, which is a kind of a bummer. But here you can turn on and off your voice control, set it up to be on the left or right side, or completely disable whichever side you don't want to have gesture touches or whatever it is. And then right under gesture settings here, back at the home screen, is music equalizer. I love this thing. This is 10 bands, guys. There's so much to play with. And down here we have some presets as well, which is nice. Down at the bottom row, I don't know if you see this, but I think this is a translation issue, and I find this an interesting quirk. Rural. And I think this is country, but the Chinese translation for country can be rural too, which I think it's hilarious. Back at the home screen under workout settings, you can toggle things like motion beat mode. Basically, this is when the earbuds pump up the bass when you're working out. And even in this case, the tuning is pretty spot on. It's not overpowering in any way. Activity heart rate sharing. This is something you want to turn on the moment you set this up. This basically shares the heart rate data or information with any app that you use, even the Amazfit app, which is something important you need to do. Back out at the home screen, it's all really basic stuff down below, checking for updates and getting help and such like that. So you're probably curious how the heart rate sensor and these earbuds work in conjunction with activity tracking. Well, you have to have your phone with you at all times connected, and in this case, a Amazfit app running in the background too. To activate this, you have to go back to the home screen, and from the bottom, I just swipe up, and here you can see some of the quick activities. I'm gonna do walking right here, and on the top left here, you can see that the Powerbuds are already connected. You can toggle it off too, which is nice. But it takes a few seconds before the heart rate starts to register, especially after you click start. It counts down, and then you see on the right here, the heart rate is shown as blank. It'll take about 25 seconds, 20 to 25 seconds, along with a GPS before they lock on and they come on. Now, I'll show you a little sample here of me having my activity tracked. I was mowing my lawn, and this is what you see. And as on the right here, you can see my heart rate is already showing, which is really nice. I really like this little feature. In case you don't have your smartwatch with you, this is a great thing to have on you when you go on for a walk or run or something. Now, let's look at some of my favorite things about the Powerbuds. And the first thing of all is sound quality / tunability. And to be honest, guys, I was not expecting this. This kind of took me off guard, how good the Powerbuds sound. Usually when I expect a new manufacturer who's making new products for the first time to be like, you know, yeah, good job, bravo, yeah, pat on the shoulder, maybe next time, yeah, you can do better. But not the Amazfits, they sound so good. They excel in detail and is strong all throughout the sound range, and it has pretty decent bass as well. And if you're not happy with the tuning, you can always go play with it in the solid 10-band equalizer. When was the last time you saw a 10-band equalizer included in an app? Yeah, right, I know. So good job, Amazfit. Now, the not so good part is it doesn't have enough staging and also has weird separation that's a little bit too narrow for my liking. It feels like it's squeezing my eyeballs from time to time. And this is because there's a lack of venting ports, and also because of the lack of venting ports, the sound is also a little bit muffled, just a little bit. The other thing that I really like is the heart rate monitoring concept, because in this case, it's just not a gimmick. It's really good, it's pretty darn accurate. It's around 3 to 4 beats per minute off from my manual testing, which is a really good result. And the fact that the sensor sits in your ear, which is naturally one of the best places to track your heart rate, is just logical and makes sense to me. And one thing that I've been thinking about this more and more is this earbud is really a good supplement or complement to your smartwatch for fitness tracking. Say if your smartwatch is low on battery, or if you left it at home, but you have your phone with you and your earbuds listening to your tune, you still can track everything that you need, heart rate and movement and everything. So that's a really good complement to each other in terms of your whole fitness kit. Now let's look at the negatives, and there are a few of them. And the first one of all is limited controls. I'm kind of confused by Amazfit's decision in this case, because while it's really strong in the double and triple tap department, it's super customizable, you can do a lot of things around it. I'm surprised they didn't go any further with a single tap, or include a single tap or hold, or even volume controls in any way. It's like they stopped somewhere and say, we're not gonna push ourselves any further. We're not gonna include that. So I'm kind of befuddled by that. So what's up with that, Amazfit? You can do better, fix it in a firmware update or something. My last beef with the Powerbuds is with pass-through mode. Sure, it's a great feature to have and all, but in this case, the implementation is kind of off. Allow me to explain. I have this feature on right now, so I'm gonna talk you right through it. The clarity of the sound is not bad. It's actually one of the better ones I've heard so far. But here's the weird thing. The sound is always skewed to the left a little bit. No matter how I try to adjust the fit and such, it's always skewed to the left. But the biggest culprit is this one. When I clap, it goes dead. It muffles itself. And I do it again, it just went dead again and it's resuming. So I'm not sure if the clap or the frequency is messing up with the algorithm or the mic or something, but it does that, and I can do it again and it just did that. And the other thing I also noticed from time to time when I tap pass-through mode to come on, only the left side activates. So I'm not sure if I got a lemon or something, or if it's just a weird behavior on Amazfit's part. So as it is right now, I can take it or leave it. Just not really a fan of how things are done here. So here we are at my final thoughts, guys. I think Amazfit did a fantastic first try with these earbuds. The Powerbuds at $99 represent a great value for money. It packs a punch. It's a high feature set like the heart rate sensor monitoring system, which is really the spotlight of it all. The magnetic ear hooks, the long battery life, the high water resistance. It sounds good, it looks good. It's almost a complete package, except for maybe active noise cancellation, wireless charging, and maybe the lack of aptX 2. But for $99, I really can't complain. So I want to give this a GearUP score of 8 out of 10. So you should definitely check it out if you're interested. The links are down below. And Amazfit, if you're listening and you want some suggestions for version 2.0, maybe you can make this all in one. You can track your activity, your heart rate, and also listen to tunes at the same time. That's a concept right there, right? And I call dibs on the royalties. Well, there you have it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this episode and for being here. You guys are just the best audience ever. Come back next Friday for a new episode. And if you haven't already, please click subscribe down below to show your support and to get me to 5,000 subs, because we're so close, as you can see from the number down below. And remember to visit my Patreon page too, where you can buy me a cup of coffee or tea or leave me a tip or something. And thumbs up if you like this video. That's very important. Yes. And comment nicely down below. And thumbs down. Thumbs down to... No, not a loaf of bread, but this thing right here, the twist tie. Whenever you get a twist tie, or when I get a twist tie, I never know which direction to open it. Is it clockwise, counterclockwise? So thumbs down to the lack of global standardization of twist tie twists. So we definitely need to standardize these guys. So anyways, that's all I got. That's really sad. Remember to do something nice and kind for somebody, guys, and I'll see you next week. And I love y'all so much. God bless. Peace out.